This episode of the Rhythm Pyro podcast is part of our monthly Show Roundtable series, where we engage in real talk with real pyros about anything and everything. Our guests range from Patreon supporters, pyro hobbyists, show designers, and industry personnel. The Show Roundtable episodes are uncut, unedited, and uncensored. Listener and parental discretion is advised.
And we ran into him somewhere one night. He's just a D-bag, totally.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
What?
I knew somebody else that lived in Nashville. Oh, yeah. He retired.
Did he?
Yeah, he just got arrested for drunk driving in the middle of the day and had a handgun on him.
Oh, my. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's perfect. When you got all the money in the world, I suppose you can pay that bail, no problemo.
Well, you should Google it because it sounds like he tried to pay the guy $2,000 not to report it.
It sounds like the guy he chose wisely. He's like, "Listen, man, you're Jay Cutler. If you want me to let this slide, like, this better be a whole hell of a lot more than $2,000."
It sounds like he fumbled again.
Yeah, he did fumble a lot.
God, what was I always loved his faces too. When he would come off like a 3 and out or something, he would have the stupidest looking face coming off of the field. But it was like it was stuck like that. His facial expressions were just stuck.
Oh yeah,
this, permanent like
resting bitch face,
stupor. Yeah, yeah.
Who's got music in the background?
I don't hear any music.
Oh, it's gone
sounds
now.
Like AJ's got music in the background.
What kind of music?
What does it sound like?
Country.
Right there.
That sounds like a. Oh yeah, it sounds like somebody's at like the like a nail salon.
Took care of it.
Blame it on me.
Squash that, Bo. I squashed that.
Guy, it's for my Weimaraner. He's anxious, so I have to play that in the background.
That's strange. We have to do that with AJ too.
Oh,
Is that a dog? Is that an animal?
yeah. He's 11-year-old Weimaraner.
Oh, nice. I've never heard of that kind of dog. Is that I'm going to look it up.
He's a 70-pound gray. They call him the Gray Ghost.
How do you spell that? Weimaraner?
Yeah, Weim. Weim.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. This looks like it looks like a hunting dog.
Correct.
Jamie, what is your name? I'm trying to figure out the rest of it. I don't know how to figure it out. How when you scroll over, it doesn't say it.
Guys, this is AJ. He doesn't participate in conversations. He just talks about them from the outside.
Conversation
Or
we're having.
he changes them. He changes the subject of that conversation if he's bored.
It's shit show. Okay.
Just hover over my name, dude.
I am, and
if
it won't
you
let me.
hover
That's
over,
why
it's
I'm
fine.
asking you.
AJ's GoFundMe.
AJ's GoFundMe. Yes.
That's funny.
God.
Wait a minute. I thought it was Jamie's GoFundMe. I'm the one that has AJ's Jamie's wallet.
Yeah, he's deflecting. He figures if he just makes it about you, then he can tell everybody he's not poor.
Exactly. Focus.
There needs to be something over top of that. I just realized that the last 2 times we've had the shit show roundtable that there's nothing there. And it goes for like 16 to 24 bars. And as cool as it is to listen to, I feel like there should be something.
Just get Jamie to Do some Darth Vader breathing behind it.
It's a riff. Pedophile breathing.
I'm your father.
They only
Welcome
knew.
to the Rhythm Pyro Podcast Shit Show Roundtable for November 2024. I'm Bo. That's AJ.
Hola.
That's Jamie.
Maybe.
I'm David.
I'm David.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jeremy.
And that's Jeremy. Yeah. We're hobbyists and professional pyro show designers, big fans of modern pyro musical. And this podcast is normally a place where we can get together and talk shop. Fireworks art, share tips, tricks, news, and insights with you. But this is the Shit Show Roundtable, which means it's raw, uncut, uncensored, and unhinged as we come in and out of Thanksgiving 2024. Go join
Gobble,
the
gobble.
Gobble gobble. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
I don't know about everybody else, but we got a pretty low key one this year. We only got 2 places to go. Usually I got to go to 5 different family members and everything else.
Yeah,
You got that many? Is it, what is it like? Is it your parents and then her parents and,
Yeah, so
Like
my mom
bunch of
usually
in-laws.
has one for just like us and my brother and his family. And then my brother's got a Friendsgiving, and then we go to my grandparents, then we go to her mom's house, and then there's usually another friend with a Friendsgiving. It's planes, trains, and automobiles for sure.
yeah.
Dang.
Do you guys, I mean, do you travel the better part of the entire week?
Well, usually it's set over a couple of different weekends. Like my brother's was actually last weekend. My mom usually does this weekend, but she got COVID this year, so she didn't do it.
Oh, shoot.
She's all good though.
I hope she feels better. That sucks. This is the best time of year to get sick, though.
I don't know.
Like,
I had COVID during the last 2 Thanksgivings. It wasn't awesome.
It
it's
seems
a
like every
horrible
time
time.
yeah, right. Because you get around all the family, and then you got all the. You guys have a lot of like, you know, little ones, the sticky fingered ones running around touching stuff and, you know, putting their hands in their mouth and then going back to the food trays, and touching things. And
I got a 9-year-old, and then my son is 14, but he lives with his mom, so I only get him a little bit of the time.
Well, your
I
kids
got
are
it.
the same age as mine, so I totally get it.
I have a 24-year-old and a 22-year-old. So no, if they
so now they're just willingly you're licking their fingers and going back for
correct,
seconds. Yeah,
correct.
I love it, man. Do you guys do any? You guys do any fireworks? Are you in places where you shoot anything on Thanksgiving?
Not I wish I could.
Bo, no fireworks for Thanksgiving. Not until Christmas.
It seems like all the tree lightings are. I mean, they probably would have happened by now. I would have thought most of them.
No, I mean, Pete's got 2 of them coming up, and it's December 13th and the 14th. And
That seems late.
December, what's the other one he has here? December 6th.
Jeez, December 13th and 14th, man. That seems so late. But then again, the one like the tree, that's the same tree. Is that the same tree show farm that you guys did in the past?
No, this is they're for like towns, like doing their really big giant tree they bring in.
Yeah.
So it's not a tree farm, just for the city.
Okay.
A lot of people just wait until after Thanksgiving. You know, you Christmas is forbidden until after the turkey day, and then you go for it.
Not in my house. The tree's been up for like a month now.
Shit, our Halloween decorations just came down.
Do you split? Do you like to split all that stuff up? Like do you dive into the Christmas decorations and, you know, while you're in Rome, just pull those out while you're putting all the Halloween shit away?
It would make more sense to do that, but no, we took all the stuff down like a week ago, and then you sit and look at, gotta get back on that ladder and put all that shit back up again, but for a different color.
I've been itching, but my wife won't let me. So I put an inflatable turkey outside until after Thanksgiving,
Nice.
and then I can do the Christmas stuff.
Inflatable turkey. That's, I mean, what that seems like it's one and done, right?
One and done.
Yeah.
12-foot turkey.
That's awesome. Is it like one of the used car lot in inflatable, the dudes that wiggles around with his hands?
He doesn't
Flailing
wiggle,
inflatable
but
tube men.
Yeah.
no. No, but he's spread out. He's definitely showing that he's the boss.
What are we talking about?
What do you think we're talking about?
So
I don't know.
let's do this. Obviously, I want thank you guys both. I mean, you guys are avid Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for contributing to the cause. Obviously, we love being on air, and we couldn't do it without guys like you. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Biggie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm excited to be on this. I think it's cool as hell that I get to do it. So,
Yeah, I agree. I look forward to listening to all your pyro podcasts.
I love it, man. I'm glad you guys get something out of it. I'm glad that anybody gets something out of it. It's always a highlight when people reach out and say, hey, for long form content, as crazy as it was going into it, people and pyro wasn't really used to long form content. I think, it was a different animal because we're also hungry for knowledge. I think so. Everybody jumps on YouTube. They kind of gravitate exactly toward the topic of what they're trying to figure out, and they get the knowledge and they move on. But the long form stuff it's a totally different animal, but part of the point of the podcast was there's so much to the relationships that we keep in pyro, whether it be through clubs and, just cultivating really cool relationships with our friends and family that we shoot pyro with, our pyro extended families, that it seemed like that's special. It was special to me. And I think it was a solid idea, to try to get all this stuff together and showcase a piece of that.
Yeah, like what I texted you yesterday, I was listening to the old podcast while I was in the garage for a while, and listening to the first 5 or 6, I'm like, man, we sound like a bunch of idiots. How did people even decide to listen to us? It took a while.
Listen to the last ones.
Go back and listen to the first 5. You're like, what the hell?
Oh, no,
we do sound like it's more. I don't even know. It's hard to explain it. It was just going back and listening to it. I was like, what the hell?
Hey guys, I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed from day one. Now I have to give props to my wife because when we're in the car and we travel, I listen to you guys and she does too.
Nice.
And I don't know if she necessarily wants to, but she likes me.
She likes you.
She's another Nicole.
yeah, I listen, but I don't subject my girlfriend to any of this, so I don't think she'd probably appreciate it too much.
Yeah,
She's not into pyro.
She's a really good sport about it, I'll say. It's not really her thing, but when we do our one big annual show every year, and for like 2 weeks up to it, there's 3 or 4 couples that are at our house literally every night doing prep work and setup and everything else. And she's right along with everybody else. But I don't think she wants to listen to this shit every week for the whole year.
Yeah.
These fucking guys again.
She was asking a lot of questions about today, though. She's like, "What's it called again?" So I'm sure she's probably going to check this out just to see what I say.
Yeah, she's going to go to work and she's like, "Yeah, he was on a podcast. What's it called?" I don't know. It's like shit something.
Jeremy, just say good things, okay? Just good things.
Oh, I'm trying to,
her.
man. I'm trying to. She is. She's the most wonderful person on earth.
Isn't she the best? She's the best, right? I love my wife too. I love you, honey. I love you.
David, you make a
72.
a really
72.
you have such a unique approach to the way that you do pyro. And I've always kind of had a special appreciation for the way that you approach shows. Jeremy, I think I've seen, you've sent me your show. I think you've sent me your show videos before, but I'm more familiar with David's show videos and like what he does every year. Like he takes a longer form approach to his pyro musicals. I mean, they're longer shows. They're like what, 40 to 45 minutes sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes close to an hour, but yeah. But spread it out. I mean, the first part, like 4th of July, the first part of the show is patriotic. And then the second part, we do something with a theme. Like, for example, this year, where I'm from is the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And Jimmy Buffett is also from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So we paid homage to him. So the second part of the show was a homage to Buffett. But always the first part is always patriotic.
Yeah. I like how you split that up, though. You do different segments as you go throughout the show. But at the end of the year, when you send your videos and I watch the videos, I mean, everything is so distinctly separated, and the way that you keep segments going through the entire thing. I mean, it's literally like this living, breathing entertainment spectacle from beginning to end. It's really, really cool how you approach that, because I know there's a lot of folks that want to do longer shows, and monotony always kind of works its way into those shows because it's so hard to keep something moving for that long. But you do such a good job of breaking that up over time. I think there's something that a lot of people can take away from that.
It's actually my dad. Bo, just like you, does your dad encourage you with different things? Because my dad is kind of the encourager behind the scenes. And he is the one he's like, David, why don't we think of this, or why don't we think of that? And, in the beginning, I'd fight him on some things, but then I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's right. And I let him in, and he actually makes me better. He encourages me. He's my biggest fan, but also he encouraged me to be better than what I thought I could be.
It's crazy how that goes, man. Like you, especially when you're trying to tag team stuff, as pyros and as creatives, I think when we approach this a lot of times, especially as hobbyists, we tend to kind of latch on to things with an iron fist. And then, it took me kind of getting into the club scene for me to work better with Dad, and then we kind of developed that same relationship that it sounds like you and your old man have, where we're doing the same thing. Cause like you do have to kind of open up and let loose on things, but it's really cool to see how someone else finds their own creativity, when that does finally open up and you put two creative minds together rather than, try to do things separately and all your own way. It's really been special watching Dad kind of come into his own.
Yeah, I feel the same way. My dad actually, so when he was a kid, so we have a family tradition on the 4th of July. Even when he was a kid, we'd all go to the beach. Well, he'd go to the beach and they'd build a bonfire and then they'd shoot fireworks. And I did that as a kid as well. And it got to the point where I was the one shooting the fireworks, my dad and we'd be down lighting them with punks. And then we'd be looking up in the sky and like, oh, I think that's good. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty. and realizing we're the ones that like it the most. So I'm like, I got to figure out how we can be, back and watch this. So that's when I went to YouTube. That's when I found Cobra. That's when I started to automate. And I have to tell you, so 2016, I think, was my first year that I bought Cobra, an 18R2 and some 18Ms. And I thought, man, I'm going to make my own pyro musical. And I got with Dan Haynes with 76 Pro line, and he helped me a little bit. Well, I totally screwed it up. Audio box, man. I did not have the right file name. So when it was time to hit the button, the music wasn't going.
Yeah.
So thankfully the DJ had like a soundboard where I could put my USB drive in the soundboard and we could kind of sync it up, but it wasn't the same. I totally botched it. Oh, it was horrible.
It's a tale as old as time, man. But it's crazy because how much did you learn from that that one instance?
Oh, 2017, totally corrected, much better. And from there, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, you have to make mistakes. It's just like any other walk of life, man. You have to make mistakes in order to understand the gravity or fully have an understanding of the importance of one little piece of it.
Well, Bo, when I was actually back when we were manually lighting, this was kind of like the straw. I was so stupid. I put a firework on top of another firework and this is down. So I'm coastal Mississippi on the Gulf of Mexico, down below the bank. And I thought it was safe to put another firework on top of another firework. This was before I did the PGI class, I'm dumb, right? Well, anyway, I light it and it falls over and it starts shooting at me. I'm like a sea turtle burying myself in the sand. It's shooting me in the ass. But then my cousin's off in the distance with his girlfriend in the beach, and it's shooting at him. So once the firework was over, I went, like it was done. I went over and I'm like, man,
my
are
bad,
you okay?
guys. That one might have been on me.
Well, no, he's like, damn, it was the best in the world. It's like it was coming. It was right in front of me. It was like 5D. It was better than ever. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, thank God. I thought I was going to have to call 911.
Yeah. So you're not going to call the authorities, right? You're still having a good time?
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Thank God. Yeah. We're all okay, Bo. We're all okay.
Yeah,
Do it again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know what? This kind of might be a cool topic. It's incriminating as hell, but it's a cool topic. AJ, what's the stupidest thing you ever did? I think this is a perfect topic for the roundtable.
Stupidest thing I ever did
with a firework.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's.
Did it involve your ass?
No, I've never done that stuff.
Never done the bottle rocket thing.
Probably showing my son how to light a firework. That's probably the dumbest thing I really did with firework, to be honest with you, because that's scary as hell. When your little kid runs up with a lighter and he knows how to flick and he's holding a big 500 gram in his hand, you're like, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
It's like, man, you haven't even put it down yet and you got the lighter lit.
I think, all right. I do have one that just popped in my head, actually, that lighting stuff off in locations you probably shouldn't. And it's the one that got me in trouble, but it would show the addiction I had even at a young age. So when me and my friends were, was it 6th grade, 7th grade? We had these 8-ounce black cat rockets. And instead of putting them in a glass jar and shooting them up or putting them in anything to shoot them up in the air, we're like, let's skip them down the road. Well, we're in the middle of a drought and we're lighting one down this road. Well, it skips down the ground, it's doing its normal thing. Well, the 4th or 5th one we did, it skipped and it went towards this building and it hit the building where some bushes were and it
fire.
What do? We take off running like a bunch of idiots. So we go back to my buddy's place, sitting there doing just nothing, just hanging out. Cops show up. Fire department shows up. Well, the kids we were with tattled on us. It caught fire. The bush did. Thank God it was a brick building, so nothing really happened. But yeah, we got narked out. Ended up having to give up our stash, and I had to go to 4 weekends in the summer of fire safety classes every Saturday.
So pyro camp.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it'd be anti-pyro camp.
Actually, you know what's funny is going through that class, I was
this
like,
kind of behavior.
You can do that stuff? That sounds pretty cool. I got an idea. Dude, I saw this in this video. You take gasoline and you put it in this. Like it taught you shit not to do, and you're like, I'm going to try that because that seems interesting.
AJ always looks at the positive outlook in life. They're enabling me.
Fireball.
What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, same thing. Lighting shit off where you shouldn't. I mean, I think it started as a kid. We'd run around shooting bottle rockets at each other on 4th of July, or you walk by the garage and throw a pack of firecrackers in there when people are standing in there, that kind of shit. But the most important, or not important at all, but the worst one was actually this year we had an incident. There used to be a lot less houses in our subdivision, so we used to have quite a bit more space to do a little bit of this and that, like for the birthdays and the other stuff. Well, one night while we were setting up the show, we lit one of those Whistling to Thunder cakes, and it tipped over and went absolutely apeshit.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, it was not good.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's one of those when you see me run, everybody else better run, and that's kind of what happened.
Well, those are unpredictable, too.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. There's a lot of like rebound off that thing when it starts to fire, for sure.
I take it was the 45-second one and not the instant.
Oh, no, it was the instant. It didn't matter. They went everywhere.
Man, it tipped over that quick?
Oh, yeah. It tipped over immediately. Yeah, it was pretty wild. So we realized we can't do that anymore. So that's like, that means basically we can't shoot at all except for the day of the show at this point.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what state do you live in?
I live in Indiana.
Okay. I'm in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana's super lenient, but it's more so
just,
being respectful of your neighbors and everything else.
They frown upon catching your neighbor's house on fire.
Yeah. What are consumer laws down in Florida?
So actually, I really don't even shoot in Florida. I'm from Southern Mississippi, so I always shoot there.
Okay.
I live in Gainesville, Florida because of my wife. But I learned the hard way. There's a wholesale distributor down near Orlando, and I bought some fireworks. And it was a weekend before the 4th of July, and I thought I'd shoot some fireworks in my neighborhood. And there's a retention pond. So in Florida, there's a lot of retention ponds because of the runoff when it rains so much. The retention pond was dry, but I mean, we weren't in a dry spell. But there were some super stuffed fireworks that I bought, and I put it in the retention pond, and there's houses all around it, and I lit it, and I didn't realize it was so loud. It shook all the houses around to the point the cops showed up, the fire department showed up. I thought I was going to get arrested. So the laws in my county that I live in just on the 4th of July and New Year's Eve. But where I'm from in Mississippi, my hometown, it's a small town called Pass Christian, right on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. My family's rooted there. We know the fire department. We know the fire chief, the police chief, the mayor. We have the whole community come together and embrace our fireworks show. So in Mississippi, I have no problem. In Florida, I almost got arrested.
Haven't quite put down the roots yet.
Yep.
Did you die?
Did not die. I did not kill anyone.
What about you, Bo? I think I know which one yours is because I think I've heard this story.
I know. I think I told it on the podcast a long time ago too. It was when I was a long time ago. I was dabbling in making stuff, and we live right next to an Air Force base. So like when you go outside, like, and I'm in a suburban neighborhood, and you just let the record state, I do none of this at all anymore. That should go without saying since this is going out into the world. But anyway, so like this is prior to becoming a licensed shooter, prior to becoming a 54 holder, prior to ever becoming a club member, any of that stuff. So I would actually go over into a baseball field that it was the Air Force base next door that they owned. And in the middle of the night, I would test stars and stuff. And it was always like this little game of cat and mouse where I'd shoot things. And then I had literally, as soon as I shot something, I had probably a minute and 30 seconds. I think was always their response time. Mm-hmm. When the base police would come over and start looking for me. But it took maybe like 2 or 3 instances of that to where I was like, you know what? Like, I hate that cagey feeling. I'm not one, I don't want to ever get in trouble. I don't like going against the grain. I always feel weird if I'm breaking laws and stuff like that. So I'm like, I want to learn how to do this stuff the right way. So that's when Dad and I went out and we actively kind of pursued the club scene here in Ohio. So it's crazy. We tell these stories where stuff sucks. And, like if Dad were here, he'd be like, oh no, the stupidest thing that you ever did was like doing that shit in my backyard and then burning holes in my pool cover. Because like that was like, as far as he was concerned, irreplaceable. He'll tell you to this day, I still have not replaced his pool cover.
They don't forget, do they, Bo?
They do not. They do not. They don't, and it's crazy. They don't even need to write it down either. They just remember it forever and ever. I don't know how that got there, Dad. Well, it looks to me like looks like the size of a star, Bo.
Damn, I don't know how that happened.
But it's nuts. Jamie, we'll do your story, but it's crazy because I think this is essentially how all of us kind of get into doing this stuff the right way. We make light of it, but it's extremely serious, and it's driven all of us to pursue doing this stuff the right way.
You ready for mine?
I'm ready for yours, buddy.
Probably the stupidest thing I did with fireworks was buy them. I would say when it all first started, you walk in a Phantom and she's like, well, you buy this many fireworks, then you get buy one, get two free.
Free.
Oh, shit, let's buy that many fireworks. So, oh man, look at these shells. You buy one, you get two free. So let's get all these reloadables. You take them to your buddy's property for the 4th of July party, and it's all day been cooking out, fishing, and drinking lots of water.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Now it's time for, hey, let's go get those fireworks. And we got this plywood out there and blocks and bricks holding these little tubes down, and about 5 guys tripping over each other, dropping canister shells in there, not paying any attention to anybody around them. Put two shells in at once. I'm like,
oh damn,
is that really smart to do? Oh yeah, it's cool. Watch. I'm like, I don't know. That was pretty cool, but no. And then all of a sudden there's a tube falling over, and everybody's like, oh shit. And it comes flying right over your head. You almost fall in the pond. Yeah, that's probably about the stupidest thing I've ever done. I have no interest in ever doing that shit again.
It's a real grab bag of stuff.
Does anybody have that one story where it was just an inch away from being the worst situation ever?
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah, that's why I bought Cobra.
Yeah,
me too.
Me too.
Yeah, we used to have 6-shot racks that we had made, and we would chain canister shells together, and we'd do them all in advance because we didn't have enough racks to load them all, and we'd throw them in a tote, and some shit in the tote caught on fire, and I was a couple feet away, and that thing, I heard it sizzling, and I got down and yelled for everybody else to get down. And it blew up, left a hole, like a big ass crater in the ground, and we got Cobra the next year. Yeah, I was like, we're not doing this shit anymore. Someone's gonna get killed.
It was similar to that. It was me and my brother-in-law would go out there and hand light at the time. This was 2014, 2013. $2,500 worth of wholesale, which is a shitload then, and. Just 2 guys running around with lighters and torches, just trying to light up stuff as fast as we can. But we had a rule: if you light something, yell fire, fire, fire. So I knew you were behind me doing something, not to walk that way. Well, he lit some canister shells, and I guess I just didn't hear him, or he didn't say it loud enough. And I turned around, and as I was walking away from the one I lit, fucking canister shell went off, and it grazed the side of my face to a point where it was like, okay, I'm done. That's it.
Wow.
And then that was when I went home and I was like, hey, honey, can I buy a system? Because I don't want to die. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. Because she was with me. She's like, I don't want you dead either. You got bills to pay.
How much? Yeah, sure. How much does one of those cost?
My wife would have said, how much life insurance do we have again?
I didn't start off with a Cobra. I started off with the cheap Chinese system first.
Not enough. Up that policy and make it so she can, live 3 or 4 years at least.
All right.
And then off yourself.
Are your wives okay with how much you've bought in Cobra? I mean, are you really honest with your wives? I have not been honest with mine. She doesn't ask, so I'm lucky.
Beep.
Man, you said she listens.
Yeah, right.
Oh, damn. Not this one.
We're talking about Christmas presents, right?
Oh,
That's right.
It costs $100 for an edit, just so you know.
It's the Shit Show Roundtable, man. It's on Thanksgiving week, too. This is it. I'm going to check out right after this.
Hey, a Cobra 18M's only $30, honey.
First rule about pyro. Come on, bro.
That's first word about Cobra.
I thought it was Cobra. Back it up, Terry.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I've always been pretty honest. I mean, there's a lot of accessories and stuff, and I've built out the system over the years, but I've been pretty quiet over the last maybe 3 years or so when it's come to system, because I only shoot so much on my own site. So the system's already as big as it needs to be. And my dad and I have kind of gotten into a habit of buying each other, just like clockwork, every single year we buy each other an 18M. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, we might as well be buying an 18M for ourselves. So we just buy an 18M for each other. But
just let him buy you the one with the lipo and you buy him with the 9-volt. Just I
wind up getting. I don't want to say I wind up getting screwed because I've got the DB25 connector that I need on mine, and then it's got to be in boots too. So, he'll buy all the standard configurations. There's a limit to his gift. There's a limit to how much he'll spend on his gift. And he's like, okay, the rest is on you.
Just buy him the boots and say, here, I got these for you.
Fill this up. It's a stocking stuffer. Got you a boot.
just don't get him an 18-man this year. Just give him the boots and the DB25.
Merry Christmas, Dad.
Strip upgrades.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Oh yeah. What about the things you guys advertise? Well, just get him that. The what is it that you advertise? The Q thing?
The Mux Sport stuff?
Yeah.
Mux Sport stuff.
The cute stuff. I'm like, that's a lot of Qs.
Yeah, I'm an 18 Q tester for Christmas.
Get him a Mux board.
Yeah, man. I'm just gonna give him CJ's phone number for Christmas. There you go. Write it on a business card. Put that in his stocking.
Yeah, that's the dream, though. Get the Cobra system to the point where you have enough for the show that you shoot every year. But it seems like every time I think I'm close to that, here comes another $3-4 grand worth of stuff I'm going to buy next year.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too. The way, I say it like I'm there, but I'm not, because I think the last 2 years I've had to borrow a couple of Jamies just to make it work. I have to, and what I should be spending money on at this point is racks, but it's, when you build your network out and you're just friends with a bunch of people and you invite folks to your show and you're going to their show, and it's nice to be able to rely on those networks and those people to help you with stuff. Jamie was Jamie money, like hardcore when he first started. I think that's why it's so funny that he said, the worst thing I ever did was buy fireworks. Because I literally, his first year, dude went from having practically nothing to...
I had nothing.
Yeah,
he had a Chinese firing system.
Yeah, almost. He had basically nothing to having more gear than I'd accumulated in almost 8 or 9 years worth of doing this.
Wow.
He's still the rack holder between the two of us.
Yes.
I think between you and me, I don't think we have enough to cover what he has in racks.
That's been a big expense for me, is I'm building more mortar racks every year. Like last year, we added 4 inchers and 5 inchers to the show, so I had to build all those racks. And this year I want to do more 4 inchers, so I'll build those racks. And I'm still trying to buy more Craigco racks because I've only got 5 of those. So I kind of factor all that into the equipment, I mean, Cobra's expensive, but so is a PA system. So are 6 Craigco racks.
Right.
This whole hobby's expensive.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, but you know what?
From the fireworks to the match to the system to the racks to the cleanup.
Oh, that's the other thing. No, but 1,000 Qs we're looking for this year. So just the match is going to be ridiculous. You spend $1,000 to $1,200 on match.
Ooh, MJGs.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is that how expensive is it to golf? Because you have to have your golf clubs, you have to have golf balls, and
it's
golf membership.
It's still not this expensive. I mean,
it
depends on where you golf. If you're golfing in Florida, then sure, you're paying a lot in greens fees, but
that's what we have to tell our wives. I mean, golf is more expensive than pyro.
Yeah.
Come on. Help me out, guys.
I think you're the only one with a girlfriend here.
Well, you see, when I bought all my pyro stuff, the wife bought a Jeep. So I'm paying for that too.
The trade-off. Yeah.
Trade-off that I'm paying for.
The rule basically in my house is as long as the bills are paid, there's money in the bank account, and we're eating, you can do whatever you want with your extra money.
And that's when you're going to get a second job?
Well, and most of my gear was bought years ago, and I did a lot of side work then, a lot of plumbing side work. So it didn't really ever come out of my actual personal account.
Yeah, that's where the lawn business goes, straight toward fireworks.
See?
I'm getting tired.
Well, I have to say, Brian Craig, though, I mean, he's a great guy, and his racks, I mean, that brings a whole new level to our shows. And that's where I find myself spending more money. I buy more racks, but then I have to buy a new module to go with each rack.
My problem is we have such good people, retailers, people like Brian Craig and other people that's just like, I want to buy from even if I don't have any money and I don't need anything, I want to support their business and buy something from them. And I'm like, well, now I got to buy something from this person and this person and this person. And it's like, but I still need all this for my show.
Yeah. It's a big symbiote circle, you know. You really do wind up spending money in a bunch of different courts just to try to build out the show to be perfect, because you could easily go from a shell heavy show one year, right? And you got every module you need to fire cues, you got every rack that you need to fire shells, and you
to 27 fireballs.
Yeah, to 20, migrating to 27 fireballs, either that or you want to, 2 years from now trade off and not do as many shells, and then you want to go into single shots, and then it's a totally different setup. So you
DMX.
Almost have to learn.
Yeah, you're right. You're DMX and lights
everything is a rabbit
moving
hole.
Stuff.
Everything is a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you're totally constantly relearning your application. But that's cool because, our shows, as they evolve and they change, when we change the application, your shoot site may never change, may stay entirely the same. But the minute that you start loading in a ton of single shots, for example,
and towers.
Yeah, towers and
fucking
as things change, the whole thing changes.
Wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I'm trying to do towers this year, and I need to know how many modules do I need just for the tower, because it seems like it's going to be a lot.
72
depends on what you're doing.
Well, I was going to put a 72M on it. I'm wondering though if, depending on how rapidly this thing starts firing shit out, if it's going to work that way, or if I need to start doing smaller modules so I have more power supplies.
Wait, do you have a wheel yet?
No, I'm going to build it. I'm basically going to build the same one that you used in that Skywars video.
Okay, so depends how you build it. I mean, you can do 72 or 144 22 millimeters
or 36. I mean,
if you do 25 millimeter, then you can do 72. And if you go 30
you'll completely
millimeter,
max it out with 272Ms.
Yeah,
that's maxed out if you do a 36 shot wheel with 22s or 20s.
Yeah.
But it's hard to max out that wheel at exactly 144 shots.
I think I'm going to do one song with the wheel. Like, I have one specific song that I want to use the effects of it for. So it's really going to matter how many beats in that song I need to fire. That's going to determine how many cues I need for it this year. But I'm always trying to expand it. Every year you're trying to get bigger. So
I guess the rule of thumb on exactly what kind of gear you need to shoot something like that. If you're going ape shit on your like your sequencing, then definitely because are you LiPo, or is your setup a LiPo setup?
All my stuff's LiPo except for the 18R2.
Okay. There's times where the 72Ms have been fine, and just depending on how the sequencing set up on the timeline and the spacing that physical module is shooting against, because I think it's, the recommended is obviously you don't want to shoot within 1/10 of a second of any other cue that's on that battery, because it just compounds the current rating, like the amperage that's going through the module. But I think Octoblast, Jamie had some concerns on some of the runs that he was doing, so he wound up he was like, all right, well, let's do this. I want to allocate 18Ms. It was all 18s, right, for all your channels on the wheel, Jamie?
On the wheel, yeah, I allocated all 18s for that because I knew I was
in gross seconds, violation of the
0.02. I was pushing it hard, and actually, when I allocated the wheel, I separated in quadrants to make sure that this quadrant wasn't shooting off the same module, just to make sure I was following the 100th of the second rule instead of the 10th of the second rule.
Do you, on your wheel, use Bose balls?
No, Oh, sorry.
If I'm using a 30 millimeter, yes, but I use Bosie's 4-ways in there.
4 ways.
4 ways.
Sounds like a Skyline chili.
Wait. Bosie's got 4 ways.
Or Bo's 4 ways.
4 ways.
He goes all 4 ways.
And 4 ways.
Damn. Hey, Bo, I'll call you later.
But what if you only use 3 of the 4-way? Do you have to stuff it with one of Bo's balls?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta finish it off somehow.
That's for like the 22s, like the 22s and the 20s. I made that little 3D printed holder. It was like there was a bottom tray that they would sit in, and then there was a top tray that would, keep the shot aligned straight. The problem that I had with that, and the reason that I wound up taking it off the website was, Dominator and Raccoon was great because it's a thinner profile, outer diameter, but the Dominator, like from one factory batch to the next, they would roll like one batch cardboard 2 or 3 times, and then the next batch they'd use a totally different cardboard supplier, roll it, and it would be so fat you couldn't even get it into the stinking faceplate. So I wound up taking them off of the site. But like these guys got it to a point where they're like, you know what, it's in a wheel and it's inverted and I don't want it to come out, so I don't care. Like I'll just jam it in there until I have to break it to get it out.
I mean, the other thing is that the Raccoon 20s, the Raccoon 20s fit perfectly though, because they're actually the same size as the old really 22s, which makes no sense.
And they still stay in there.
AJ, how did you at Skywars? How did you break up the module load for the wheels?
They were all actually. I think I actually used 72s, but I wasn't flinging them around too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think this 2023, you had a lot of like intricate movements from wheel to wheel, where you had stuff coming out of each wheel, but it wasn't like 2021 when like you had the entire wheel just going crazy.
Even then, it wasn't that crazy. So yeah, it was all 72s, but I had one side of the wheel on 172, and the other side of the wheel was on another 72. But like the show in Plano this year where I did that national anthem and I spun them around really quick. Mm-hmm. I used 36s, except for the middle one, I think it was, had a 72 on it. And I just let it rip. And it was fine. There was 3 that didn't go off. I don't know if it was just they didn't go off because I don't know when or how. I'd have to go back and figure it out. But you couldn't tell. That's how fast it was zipping around.
Yeah.
Have you guys brought a wheel to CobraCon? I wasn't at the last CobraCon. I got sick, but I was at the prior 2.
Brian usually has it there.
Yeah, Brian has it there.
Okay.
He's got one that he puts on display. I don't know that anybody's actually used one in demo shows or anything.
Or you just want to play with it?
What are we talking about?
Yeah, so what you should do is just bring a wagon with a bunch of stuff in it and then take it straight over to Brian's booth and just don't say anything to anybody. Just start loading stuff into the wheel.
I just want to see how this fits.
See how that.
I want to see if this is the right size for me.
Hey, can I help you?
Hey, you got a wrench I can use? I'm trying to take this down.
Yeah, AJ, Bo, and Jamie said I should do this.
They said it's okay. They said just to smile while we're doing it, and you just look at us. If you look at Brian and make eye contact while you're doing it, and you just smile, he won't say anything. He'll let you put it in the wagon, and he'll be like, where the fuck you think you're going?
God, did anybody get that guy's name?
He might even let you go out the door and look over at Gary and be like, did you see that?
That really did happen, didn't it?
No, that new wheel looks really cool that Brian made. The one that houses the 30 millimeters that they use.
With the clip-in.
Yeah.
How many shots is that sucker?
I
thought it was like
300 something.
Well, it depended on what size you used, but I think it was 50 millimeters it could fit.
Wow.
Per row. Wasn't it what it was?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was stupid.
So I imagine this will be at the new CobraCon coming next year.
I don't know. He specially made it for Tim Jamison, so
they got room for
unless
it.
he makes one for himself.
I plan to stick to the 20 and 22s anyway because I don't have a wide shoot sight, so I don't want that shit shooting way out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, not only that, you got to have a really tall tower to go beyond 22s.
Yeah, what are you thinking? Like 30 feet? Is that what you said, AJ?
That's what ours is. It would be better if it was probably 40, but you really can't get 40 without a lift.
Yeah.
Safely.
Yeah, 40 is sketchy lifting. 30 is about, I think, like the safe zone with what we use right now, with being just hand lifted tower kind of things, especially as lightweight as they are for aluminum.
I hate to bring this up, but were you guys going to bring one of these to Sky Wars?
What?
This before it was canceled? Were you going to bring the wheel?
I don't know. So I can't give it away only because it wasn't our show, right? It's John's show. So we're under super MICRIT NDA, and I don't sweat MICRIT. I sweat Nicole. She's the one that
you should.
So I wouldn't bring any of that stuff up.
Is she the one that drinks the bourbon?
Yeah, she drinks.
Yeah.
The bourbon.
No. That's Vanna.
Nicole probably drinks the tequila.
Yeah, probably. Probably. I'm dying of murderous rage. Where's Bo? I don't know. Last I saw his body, it's
called me a fucking hurricane.
He talked back to me. He talked back.
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like quite a number of guys were going to bring wheels out this year, or at least elevated effects. They were going to do elevated effects at Sky Wars, so I guess we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I refuse to bring any equipment. I'm
drawing a line.
I'm drawing a line.
I'm not doing any work anymore.
After John, we're all taking like 2 years off. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, John. I was just so stressed out with the cancellation of Sky Wars last year. I just can't do it this year. Did you guys, David, you've been to Sky Wars, haven't you?
I have not.
Oh, buddy, you got to go.
Well, I was going to go and then it was canceled. Matter of fact, I think I texted you saying, hey, I heard it was canceled. Yeah. You probably already knew it was canceled, but anyway, that
happened really quick, man. Like all that cancellation stuff went around and it went around like wildfire fast. I think probably before the, I would say within 4 or 5 hours, the entire community was in a tizzy over it.
Yeah, but the field evidently was really underwater. And then being in Florida, I mean, we had Helene, which came up there and brought all kind of rain and everything too. So, I mean, it was for the best, but hey, I look forward to next year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a good event, man. Such a good event. So it's the best shows that you'll see here in the continental United States for sure.
Well, so I plan to go to CobraCon this next year. I'm going to help with Tyler Wheat's boot camp. And then, Bozy, I'm sure you're going to be involved in that too, huh?
Boot camp? No, we're going to be there teaching though.
Okay.
We're doing.
That would be fun to walk around during the boot camp thing.
I'm actually signed up for boot camp.
Hell yeah. The Bob Barker mic thing you were talking about doing. There you go. Let's do that at the boot camp.
Come on down.
Yeah, that's right. Well, no, we'll walk around with a Bob Barker mic and then the joke's going to be we'll just walk up to people's setups and AJ's going to tell them how they're not doing it right.
So why'd you do that?
Why'd you choose 2 stakes here instead of 3 points?
AJ, if you see me, skip me, okay? Just move on. Pass by me.
That's the fun part about all that.
Didn't you help out with the
rack by that cake?
You helped out with the boot camp once before, didn't you?
I did 2 years ago. And it's the year that everybody played the song Jump.
Yeah,
we
were there.
Yes.
Yeah. We were there the year.
And it rained, and we're all under umbrellas and tents, and we still did the show.
Did you see the guys that were all under a blue tarp? There was 5 guys gay huddling under a blue tarp.
Wait, I think I was in there. I might have been right next to you.
We call that guddling. It's called guddling, AJ.
Guddling. Dewey, did you grab my ass?
That was, I think it was Fort Wayne. So that was Fort Wayne. But in Muncie, I helped out in Muncie, and it went well. That's when they did, what was it? Is the guy's name Ellery? They did his show before it was even dark. And
Disney show.
Yeah, that was a great show. I wish they would have waited a little bit. But no, that was a good year, 2 years ago.
Ellery's show was so good, man. I think that whole show just kind of kicked everybody in the nuts. It was so good.
Well, and Scott Smith came out and said, well, this is, what a backyard pyro, he made it sound like it was an intro level. And then I sat there and I watched it and I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome. And I'm thinking to myself, I suck.
Trust me, we all thought that.
Yeah.
Not about you, about ourselves.
The question is, though, did he design that show with Finale or did he do it with CSC?
No, I think that whole show he designed was non-visual. Now, I he's dabbled in some of the visual stuff the last couple of times out, but that show was non-visual.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I remember his episode. He talked about how he doesn't use visuals, so it makes it even more impressive for me.
It's amazing.
Totally. Well, and it's
somewhere over the rainbow.
Yeah. It totally goes to show you that, different designers have different styles, and I wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I do without a visual reference. Right. I want to go fast. I want to go pedal to the metal when I do things, and I want to make these really elaborate pictures, but it stands on a mountain of its own that you don't need to do all of that stuff to create a really cool sight picture, because Ellery just absolutely freaking killed it. There was nothing in that show that seemed like it was overlapping. The product choice never got boring for the different segments. He was choosing super nice long burning effects and then changing it up as the whole segment went on. It was so well done.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm a Finale 3D user, and I need that visualization. And matter of fact, Bozy, I don't know if you're still doing your designer's desk, but there's so many fireworks out there that I'm having to go in and construct myself. And I don't really know what I'm doing. I'd much prefer to send that to you. Are you still doing that?
So the designer's desk it's still up, and the idea is someday to kind of come back to it and do it again. What I'm trying to do is I want to, and I've talked to Jamie and AJ about this, and it's hard because AJ's kind of a Finale 3D user, but he primarily lives in Show Sim. Jamie lives in Finale 3D, but I think we all jokingly so much, even when we're trying to find creative, clever ways to give back to the community and also try to create revenue for the podcast, we're like, you know what? Let's revamp the designer's desk, and I'll just completely rebrand the designer's desk, and we'll do rhythm simulations, right? Where we just we put our libraries out there and for sale, and people can buy them for a couple of bucks a sim or something like that. And that helps build out the podcast. What sucks though is nobody likes to create simulations.
Right.
It takes so much stinking time.
Right.
Yeah, but if I make the switch to 3D this year and you want to sell me all your simulations, let's make a deal, because I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? I walked through with Curtis the other day, and he kind of broke down how to do that. And it's not as complicated as it first seemed, but still, it's just going to be really time consuming.
It's insanely time consuming.
It can be complicated depending on the level of the effect you're trying to do, but it is just time consuming.
But
Jeremy,
you know what?
Did you play with Show Sim at all?
I just started playing with it the other night. I'm So Curtis had a good idea. He's like, you ought to design like a mini pyro musical in both systems at the same time. See which one you like better, which one you figure out what you like better and what works easier for your workflow. And I may try to do that. I may pick like a minute of music and see if I could do the same show in both of them and see which one I like better.
Gotcha.
You got really explore the space, because you've totally got time.
Well, it seems like that, but I tried to make my track last year, and then I'm hitting you up pretty late in the game asking for you to fix my track for me for 4th of July. So you know how that goes.
Well, if you're working on it now,
he does it in like 5 minutes.
Well, he did do it in like 5 minutes. That was the amazing part about it.
Doesn't that just embarrass you? Like, seriously, I've been working on this for 3 days.
AJ when AJ replumbed my house, he did it in like 4 hours. I can't plumb a house. This works.
An extensive replumbing too.
Extensive replumbing. That's right.
Like he just went rah. He went all in and he was done. I'm like, dude, you just like repiped his entire house and it took you 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what
I did have your guys' help in that one little section though, because there's no way I would have got that piece of cast iron out by myself. I would have taken a hammer and just beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, I just broke it in the basement.
Either that or rip that copper out. But I was like, I really don't want to take the copper out.
Yeah.
Let's leave the copper.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. Like the creating simulations, and this is like, I thought for sure when I started doing the design desk, because believe it or not, like I pulled the idea for that market straight from like in the audio engineering world, all the live long day. I mean, if I've probably spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on like samples, drum samples and different virtual instruments and all kinds of different stuff. But it's a huge market in audio engineering. And I'm like, you know what? This might make a lot of sense in fireworks, because what does everybody bitch about when it comes to finale is creating simulations, and everybody's go-to is just like, whatever, I'll just do a placeholder and that'll be fine. And it winds up being something like it's a point of contention, because these people are like, nah, this isn't good enough. Like, I don't feel like I have enough control over this. So I took that same kind of market and applied it to fireworks and simulations, and it went okay. I just don't feel like I didn't market it as much as I should have. So what wound up happening is like I dumped weeks and weeks and weeks into building out the library as to what it is now, and doing all the marketing materials for it and stuff like that. And it just like it didn't really pay dividends toward what was going on. Like, all of my audio engineering gigs and just like the ball
time
sales,
per dollar,
ball sales. Like, it's way easier for me to sell a thing of balls than it is to sell a sim for $6, and it's good to go. But I get it. I understand that people want that, right? But I just feel like if I did it and I had like, if Jamie were there to help me and AJ were there to help me and we just blitzed it for a couple of months and put a whole bunch of stuff up for sale, I think that we could probably rebrand it and I'd be more motivated to market the line.
Although I bought your patriotic AF, whatever AF stands for, and I bought your chillax.
I think I remember seeing that, man. Thank you.
Which is the one that's when it went out though, it changed or something.
Oh, got it. That was Dragon, I think.
Was it Dragon? Okay.
Yeah, it was Dragon. I had looked at the product once, and then after I made the sim and uploaded it to the store, a couple of people bought it, and then I got a hold of you, because this is before I shot it in real life. And I'm like, hey, just out of curiosity, can you cut the top off of that and tell me how many rows are in it? Because I took because I took a guesstimate, because it's got like one row where it does the because they're all packed leaves into the same inserts, whereas I thought they were totally separate and that they just sent up a couple of rows at once. But nope.
Oopsie.
Oops. Yeah. Oopsie. So that one goes out with a disclaimer now. If you buy that one, it's like, you got to change this row's got to be changed to that. Well, I don't know if you guys
bought that. I think I bought it, but you know what? I'm not butthurt about it.
That's good. That's good.
Was that good?
No, it's good that you're not butthurt about it. I'm happy to refund you your $6 though. If satisfaction is always guaranteed here.
No, I'm just unleashing on my inner butthurt.
David said it.
Oh God. Oh jeez, I love
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
I know. It is hard to help.
Is it just me or does David sound like he could be related to Dana, Canada?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, possibly.
Hey, David, say A.
A?
Yes,
totally. Yes, dude. If we put David and Dana on the same podcast, I bet people would be like, "Well, wait a second. I think Dana said this one."
No, has an accent.
Why is Dana talking to himself? He's even answering himself.
You bet.
You bet.
One of them's from Florida and one of them's from like deep Canada, and it's like the only thing that you can tell them apart is like the way that one of them says "bud" a lot.
So we're going to get a message at 8. What do you think? 6:30 in the morning on Friday?
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys,
So, Jeremy, what do you like to work on during the winter?
Oh, so like music is always kind of like this evolving thing. So basically, I'm always saving music to playlists like that I think will work in my pyro shows. Like I've already got like a start on the 2026 pyro show playlist, because you find songs that are like 2 songs that you really like and you think they'll work, but they're similar. So you don't want to put them both in the same show. So I'll just kind of start building out like that. But then I'm looking at like the songs I do pick. I try to shoot like a theme to each song. Like I don't do like a traditional pyro musical, but each song's got like a color theme or like a type of effect theme. So I start working on trying to track down what I want to shoot for that theme and that song. And then of course, everything I figure out earlier in the year just gets thrown in the trash can when it's time to shoot the show later in the year. So it's kind of all a waste of time and money.
How often would you say that when you throw stuff into a playlist, I mean, does it evolve so much over time for you that, you know, you settle on a song in say August of one year, and then by the time you get to, I don't know, February or March of the next year, you're just like, nah, you know what? I want something else. I'm bored with it.
Well, that's what I've already done. Like in my head, I've already got 2025's playlist done. It's set. Like it's already ready to go. I guarantee I will change it 30 times between now and 4th of July though. Like that's what happened to me last year. It was literally 2 weeks before the show and I decided I needed to change the intro song, which threw everything out of whack. So it was just, that's the thing. It always evolves, but at some point I'm going to have to this year just decide, all right, we're done. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. What do you think drives that? I mean, I guess going deeper with that, what do you think drives us to make these last minute changes on tracks like that?
For me, I think it's that I listen to it so many times that it gets to the point where it loses like any kind of magic it had for you. You know what I mean? You get tired of it. And then it's like, yeah, I've heard that song so many damn times now that I don't want to shoot fireworks to it anymore. So it's part of that. Okay, so I got you. So it's almost like an inspiration thing at some point,
for sure. Especially if you're beyond the music choice and you're into design. Because if it had luster at one point and you were seeing stuff, and then all of a sudden you're not seeing anything, it's just not jiving anymore. It's like, all right, this has got to go.
I'll pick a song and I start to see in my head like what I think I'm going to do with it. You know what I mean? And then another thing is you may realize after the fact that, okay, that's actually not going to work. So it kind of just kills the song for you.
Yeah.
So when you hear music, do you just see fireworks when the music words are playing? Because that's how I am. When I hear a song, it's like I immediately start seeing effects and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I like screenshot my phone or save it depending on the position. And like you said, you just listen to it so many times like, that's not it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like I can't even listen to music anymore without wondering like how pyro would look over the top of it. So I think that's why it's like when I stop listening to like metal or rock for a while, it's because I don't want to shoot fireworks to country or pop or something. So it gives my brain a break. You know what I mean?
Do you guys ever get like anxiety because, hey, you did such a good show the prior year that you don't know how you're going to make it better? You don't know how you're going to make your music selection better. I mean, you get to the point where you get this mental block and you get anxious.
Yeah, totally.
Never. My shows always suck.
Yeah.
I had that 2 years ago. I shot
as he's spit shining the belt that he doesn't have.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I shot Pyro to Purple Rain, and it turned out amazing. And I was super happy with it. And it was like, all right, what song is going to be featured next year for that? You know what I mean? And I found ways to like pick small like passages and songs and do similar things, but I didn't have a whole song that was just worked out exactly the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking of because I didn't do my main show last year. I'm kind of thinking of doing the greatest hits and doing a portion of each song that I did in the past 5 years for the main body, and then doing a finale song.
And then just copying and pasting each little segment. That seems like a really quick way to design your show.
No. It's going to change. It's going to be better. It's going to take every year that song that like, because it evolved every year. I've gotten a little better. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to take those same songs and be able to do the things that like, man, I wish I could have, or I should have, done that or done this, when you're doing, bang, bang. It's like, oh, now I know how to time stuff to do that. I'm going to do that this time.
If I would have known then what I know now, exactly. I would have done this.
It's just kind of, the greatest hits coming back. We didn't do last year. Let's make it big. Let's look back on the evolving years, and then let's just go balls to the walls on the finale and be like, holy crap, that was awesome. That's kind of what I got going on.
Sounds like you need your equipment, Bo.
You're laughing, but you're going to have to come down too.
You better have it like after the 4th then.
It's always after the 4th.
Way after the 4th.
I was thinking like September.
That's fine.
Yeah, David, inspiration is my big driver, but I like it's always in the back of my mind because I don't have any idea. When I did Angel Wings at the lake, I thought for sure I was like, you know what, this is the song, just because of what the song meant to me and what the show looked like when it was all over, said and done with. Like I walked away from that show saying, like, telling everybody, I genuinely don't think I'll ever be able to do better than that. And still to this day, it's like my own personal, like it's a point of triumph for me because it's one of the favorite shows that I've designed. But like Chasing Ghosts, I thought was good, but I didn't think it was as good as Angel Wings. But like I'm always scared going into writing the music. That's my biggest point of, oh God, like, because it winds up being a whole thing that's a lot longer for me to do than put the show up. Like, I can design the show in maybe a month or so. It doesn't take me a ton of time.
Show off.
Yeah.
It's all like the music is what gets me, because especially if I don't start on it early enough.
We started on this track.
So do you start with the lyrics or do you start with the music?
Always the music. The lyrics are the last thing that I ever do. And that's even if I do lyrics in a song. And half the time when you guys hear lyrics in my songs, it's because I was sitting around pulling my hair out like Tommy Boy, because I'm not good with lyrics. I'm not a good lyric writer, period. I can sit like so much so that when I write a tune, I do all of the instrumental stuff first. The entire instrumental is written. And then I'll go through the keyboard and I'll make a melody for what I'm hearing for lyric lines. And then I will go in and surgically try to create phrases and words that make sense over those melody lines. That's how bad I am at writing lyrics.
Oh, that's not bad though. That's a talent that you think the music before you think the lyrics. That's amazing.
I appreciate it, man. Cause it's always been really difficult because I felt like, if I ever wanted to improve as a songwriter, it needs to happen lyrically, because I constantly feel like I fall short there. I constantly feel like the lyrics are empty and hollow. Like that's why I liked Angel Wings so much, because I was like, my heart was invested in writing that song for my grandmothers.
For your grandmothers. Absolutely. That was amazing. And when you go to your YouTube and you listen to your narration beforehand, that sets the whole stage. I mean, we were all emotional watching that. I mean, I was, I'm sure everyone was.
Well, and I can say I got a lot of respect for the fact that you do that and you put yourself out there like that, because when I was in high school, I used to play a lot and I would write my own songs, and I had so much anxiety about anyone ever hearing any of it. So I can't imagine writing a song and then having it have fireworks shot to it in front of 100 or 200 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, believe it or not, like I did the whole band thing, and not like the traditional band thing in high school. I didn't actually pick up a guitar for the first time until I was in college, but I learned how to play guitar in college. And then I was in a band for a while, and all well, fine and good. It was all great. I had a great experience. But then after that, for almost 5 years or so in there, I didn't pick up a guitar a bit. When I decided, I don't want to I can't actually be a rock star for a living. So I got to go get a real job. So that you do it, and then you wind up coming back to this stuff, and then you're just a bedroom musician, and it's great for therapy. It's awesome to sit down when I've had a shitty day, grab the guitar and just kind of get lost for an hour or two in writing music or just playing around. But
an hour or two.
and it happens. But in the first time that I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a song or a skeleton of a song. I'm actually going to finish it, and I'm going to apply it to fireworks, because I'm already doing this fireworks thing every year, and it's a lot of fun. And I feel like I'm really creative throughout that process. So let me take this other aspect of my life that I care about so much and see if I can meld the two of these together to create something cool. And, I got to do that in 2019 with Neon Skies. And dude, after that show shot, I think I've said this before on the podcast too, but I had to kind of step away from the table and then walk inside my grandmother's house, because we shoot right on the lake, right behind the house, because I had to kind of get away because I was so overwhelmed with the amount of emotion, just because that was the first time that, since I had been in the band, that I'd actually taken a song that I'd written, done anything with, and put it out in front of the world.
Wow.
So you're right. That anxiety was always there. Even to this day, dude, do you remember the movie Spinal Tap?
Yep.
Okay. No. You remember that? It's like a parody, like this rock parody. These English guys, they're just totally clueless. But there's a scene in the movie where the one dude's got his girlfriend with him, and he's like, oh, I'll show her my songs and she'll let me know. She's like, oh, this is really good. Oh, this is shit. Katie, every time I let her listen to some of my music, she's just like, oh, okay. And I never know. I never really know what to make of that. So I get inside my own head. Yeah. Oh, dude, it makes me think every time. I'm like, all right, well, maybe this actually blows. So
I was expecting you to stand up and have full applause and tell me how great I am, and you didn't do any of that shit. So now I hate the song and I'm starting over.
Exactly. You're still wearing clothes. I don't get it.
Oh my.
Yeah. It's and that's why I'm thankful that AJ's really into metal and stuff too, because sometimes where I'm really in my head over something and I think it's a bad idea, because I'm notorious for doing what my dad has done for years and years and years and years, which is he's a surprise machine. You never really know what he's thinking. You don't want to show people stuff until you're done with it and all that kind of thing. I'm terrible about that because I do it all the time. But if I'm sitting on top of a kind of a cool music idea or something like that, hop on Discord to show AJ. And then if AJ is kind of the true test, he's like, oh, this is really cool. Or, if he's not really into it, then it ain't going to work at that point.
Plus he has no filter.
That's true. He'll tell you exactly what it is. Yeah.
Hey guys, so when so we all have stressful jobs. do you ever just go home and turn on YouTube and watch one of your old shows that you've done that brought a lot of joy to people, and it just changes, it makes your frown upside down?
I mean, I've watched my shows. I never just came home and watched it because of that kind of reason, but I've watched them back just, I guess, to feel. It's kind of like the show
for inspiration again.
Well, it's also like the one that I always talk about all the time is the one with that where Bo came out and shot a show at a place I had shot fireworks at, Keys Camp. It was the first time I actually, well, second time meeting him, but first time got to see one of his pyro musicals in person.
2 horns, and you got the double 2 horns.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know what you're talking about, Jamie. Yeah,
Jamie, is that on YouTube?
It's on my Venmo or Vimeo account.
Oh,
but it's I watch that one a lot because it just reminds me of that moment of what Bo was saying. He's like, I didn't feel, like I was really like he was losing his spark in the whole firework adventure. And sometimes I feel like too, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if they don't have the urge like you do when at first kind of thing. So then I watch some of those videos like that, or I'll watch some of Bo's, or I'll watch some of Jamie's shows. It just reminds you of, your friends and the things they do. And it reminds you of the things in the comments and the questions and everything that went into those shows, and kind of sparks something else back in you to make you, get that inspiration. Hold on one second. My kid, you get out of here, boy. This isn't a playground. Let's go. I'm on a podcast.
That's the same way.
No, I don't want a corn dog. Go. Bye.
I don't watch anything when I get, because I had a bad day at work.
I want a tomahawk.
Oh my God.
I have, like this year, for example, I struggled. I was trying to script a show by October, and January, February, March, April, May, June. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I don't even want to open finale. I mean, like my license expired. I bought a new computer. I hadn't even downloaded Finale, and it's June. Yeah. July comes along. I finally, it's like, maybe I guess, AJ, you want to help me work on this song? So I'm on Discord with AJ, and we're just talking, and that kind of helped me get the song going. And I had most of the song going, and then I started going back and watching my old shows and Bo's old shows, and Neon Skies, one of my favorites, my inspiration to actually get into pyro musicals. I started to get a little spark, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get this music done. Yeah. Finally got the music done. And then I finally got Finale downloaded, and I was just like, ugh. I just hit a rock. I'm like a wall. And I'm like, oh my God. And thank God when we went to PGI, just the whole getting my hands on fireworks again, it was just like amazing. And then watching the shows and watching AJ and Nate's show, it was like, all right, I was ready to script. And when I came back, I started scripting. But you do need that for some inspiration sometimes to hear others are like, I can actually do this, because there's so many times when I script something, I'm like, this sucks. Nobody's going to like this.
It's also when you're watching this. It's watching the shows that you watched before that made you get into it, kind of thing, or like what inspired you at the time to like push something or to do something, for yourself or differently, kind of thing. Like the one is, what is it? The song at the lake, the Time Bombs and Hurricanes? Is
Time
that what it's
Bombs
called?
and Hurricanes, yeah.
Like that was the first show that I watched. Well, it's not the first one I watched from, but that was the first one I remember watching. And at the end of that one, I was like, fuck that. I'm buying a Cobra. I'm doing something just like that. That is fucking badass. That's the one that inspired me. And I've said it 100 times. It's the part where you use those like silver cascading comments where you did it to the words. Where it's like, I was like, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. So those are the ones I really watch if I'm having like just a day or something kind of thing. It's not my own. It's like watching your friends, because it just has more meaning, I think.
Yeah, 100%, man. Dude, it's the exact same for me. I mean, when you invited me to Keys Camp, like I was on the verge of just like, I was kind of done, because I didn't feel like I was really getting anything else out of fireworks. I mean, and it wasn't that I felt like I couldn't grow or go anywhere with it. And I knew I was. It was just to a point where I felt like I was going through the motions, and I wasn't really doing anything that entice me creatively, you know, and that's like, I need that, you know, I need something to feel like this means something to it. It's got to mean something to me. I want it to mean something to other people. I want it to be impactful and special. And, you know, being there with you, and like, even though if like the crowd really enjoyed the show, dude, like your reaction and just seeing you, like your fire for pyro musicals, that was it. Because I left that whole interaction, like not only do I feel like I've met somebody really special, but I'm in love with this shit again. Like, this was a really, really, really special trip. And I even told Dad that when we left. I'm like, oh my God, this is something else, man. I didn't expect this special. At all.
So, yeah. Bo, I actually hire a videographer to video our 4th of July show, and he captures the best part of the show. It's good, everything. But I actually put a GoPro on the table right by our where I have the 18R2 where we all sit, and
sounds like
I hit the record button way early so I can hear like us all getting, like me and my best friend, my dad, my family, my kids, and I get to hear all this working together, and then watching the show progress, and then at the end of the show hearing how everybody loved the show. And that GoPro edition always gives me the energy to do better things, because it's like you, Bo, with your friends and your dad and me with my kids and my dad and my best friend. It just empowers me to do better.
Dude, it's so hard to not be romantic about stuff that you're so physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually invested in. And fireworks can be a bridge to all of those different aspects. But like, I'm right there with you. I think just recently, I want to say it was Mike from NEOPG. He had posted a video in the Rhythm Discord, and it was a video that they did up north in Ohio. And they had one of those cameras, like one of the command cameras where they got it, they're facing the people. And I find myself just emotionally in those very instances when I'm watching those views, just connecting with the person that's shooting the show, like all of the people there, because that brings me to the moment so much more than watching any kind of show videos nowadays, you know, because like I'm thinking about all of the things in fireworks that wind up being special to me. And I get that that's totally different for every other human being that shoots fireworks. But for one reason or another, we're all doing this for something, you know, and finding out what that something is, and like the beauty and exploring what that something is as you're kind of, you know, going through your pyro journey, trying to find it. There's something special about that. You know, I love going back and watching, you know, it's even just for like a split second, the intro of AJ, that video in Sky Wars year 2021. Like I loved your show. Your show was phenomenal, and still to this day, one of my favorite shows. But like, I'll go back and I'll watch that video, like just the first 2 or 3 minutes of that edit, just because it's so cool to look at everybody. Like, you're right there with everybody, enjoying their personalities as we go through those moments.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I've watched that video a bunch of times, and it's like, that's where I hope to get someday, you know, like to build that kind of like experience with other people. And two of the guys that heavily are involved with the show that we shoot every year are actually coming to CobraCon with me this year. And I kind of hope that it sparks some of that creativeness in them so that they want to start contributing in new ways. Because I want to see other people's ideas too. Like every year I pick all the music and I kind of design the show and they just help me put it together. I want them to help me with the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they like them exploring their creativity, man. I mean, think about like that has an impact on the entire ordeal. It has an impact on you. Who knows what that's going to inspire you to do?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, as they say, there's a million different ways to skin a cat, right? So I see a part of a song that, in my head, it looks like it'd be really cool to do this, but they may see something completely different, and it may be way better than what I see when it's all said and done. And I'm fully open to that, like collaboration. Two minds are always better than one. So
totally. Do you guys I mean, are all of your crews, is it kind of like your own personal crews? Are either of you guys kind of plugged in with different club scenes?
I actually was a member of HPAA for a year or two, but I worked so much that I never really got to go out to any of the shoots or do anything, but I've never really hooked up with anybody and built any kind of relationships there. I mean, it would probably be a good idea for me to get involved because, like you said, like sharing equipment and like having other resources would be nice. But at the end of the day, I mean, I've bought enough equipment for myself now that I can do just about everything I want to do. I'm hoping, but between now and July, I'll have enough to where it's finally like, all right, that's it. We're not buying anymore, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
I know. I'm already talking about buying more speakers for the PA system. I need more Crayco racks. I need more everything. That's just the way it's always going to be.
So, Bo, I actually, I don't need any more equipment. I think I have enough, but every time I go to CobraCon, I end up saying, "Ooh, I need that." And this new iShot system that 76 has got, I'm like, do I need that? And but I couldn't. You talk about a crew. I mean, in Florida, I am part of the Florida Pyrotechnic Art Guild, but they're more about building fireworks. Like, and I don't really care about that. I'm more about, I want to create musicals.
Yeah.
So in Mississippi, when I go home and for the 4th of July or for Christmas or for New Year's Eve, when I do my shows, I have a certain group of people, including my 2 boys and my best friend, and sometimes a really good friend that comes from Florida that helps me. That they always help me get the job, get it done, and I'm very appreciative. And I don't pay them. I don't have to ask them. They want to do it because they love it. Not only do they love helping, but they love to see that finished final product and how much joy it brings to everyone, the audience. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys experience the same thing.
The way that you include them too in the entire ordeal, just like within the soundtracks and everything too. Like you guys will, like your whole entire family is taking turns conveying messages throughout the different voiceovers as you go through the track. And I think there's something so special in doing that together as a big family unit. You guys, like you've found something in your lives that's you're bonding over, whether fireworks are their favorite thing in the world or they're not. You guys have still found this really cool experience that brings you all closer together once a year.
So, Bo, my 2 boys, I'll ask them, so what is your favorite holiday tradition, or what's your favorite holiday? And you would expect that it'd be Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Yeah.
But they say it's the 4th of July.
Yep.
And you go back in my family tree, and I have pictures of my family getting together like in 1950, getting together, building a bonfire on the beach, celebrating the 4th of July. And knowing that we're continually doing it and bringing it forward and bringing innovation to it. And then my boys are getting into it. And hopefully one day when they have kids, they get into it. They continue to bring what my ancestors brought to celebrate our freedom and patriotism.
Yeah, man. And continually keep the torch burning.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that too, because my best memories of being a kid were 4th of July, because all my dad and my uncles, and they would all get together, and it was like the only time of year that they'd all get together and they'd be excited about setting up stuff for 4th of July,
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of guys running around hand lighting shit that they bought at a little tent down the road, but still, like, just to see that excitement and joy out of it, that's what started the whole thing for me.
Yeah. I'm right there with you guys. You think that you probably ask any person that's not a firework person what their favorite holiday is going to be, and like David said, it's probably not going to be something like the 4th of July. But the 4th of July it's always been our holiday and our spectacle, and the one that it means the most to us for pick your reason, whether you're out there every single year to do something crazy and shoot fireworks, or whether, you genuinely take the meaning of that holiday to heart and run with it. Like those, in my family, it was always that, we could not wait every single year to get together over the 4th of July and watch my dad do his thing
on the lake, right? With your family. That's your tradition. So I had 2 Cobra Cons ago it was like an advanced, a pyro musical class. And Mike Allen was sitting right next to me, and he was talking about themes and how important themes are to his show. And I really respect Mike and his shows and everything that he's been through. But listening, themes have hit. Like I now want to do more themes in my show. I want it patriotic, but I also want some type of theme. So what we've started to do is every year we do build a bonfire. We light the bonfire before we start our show, but the bonfire actually has a theme. So this year, we did homage to Jimmy Buffett. So we built a volcano. So I don't know where I'm going to go when the volcano blows, but the year before we did a theme, and the year before we did a theme. So carrying on that theme brings, everyone can't wait to see what the new theme is. And when they come down to the beach every 4th of July, families take their family photos in front of our bonfire. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, they draw something from the event, yes. And that's why, all the countdowns and stuff that you have, everything it's tailored toward a bigger picture, and you being able to tie that entire show together for whatever length it winds up being, that creates this super stellar experience for everybody that comes out to enjoy the show. And I'm right there with you, dude. I don't think anybody does theme shows better than Mike does.
How is that dude doing? I've never met the guy, but I know that he had his health issues or whatever.
He had the heart attack earlier this year, and he's on the up and up. I know. Jamie, we were on a group chat with him. It was a few months ago, and we were making red meat jokes, I think.
He looks good last time I saw him. Considering
I sent him a video of the YouTube link of my show this past 4th of July, just for his feedback, and he went through the whole thing and gave
such
me
an awesome guy.
Yes, gave me just his constructive criticism, and mostly it was saying, he was saying how good it was, but I really appreciated it. Most people might watch the first 10 minutes and hey, great show. He went through the whole thing, gave me a whole paraphrase of the whole thing.
Mike's an awesome guy. He's always so positive and always so helpful. I don't think I've met a nicer guy. I don't know why he likes Chad so much. But wow. Damn it, I just lost my storage unit.
You just lost your fireworks. He's putting him in a bonfire right on Friday.
He's like, those are gone.
Guys, I hope I didn't cause any problems by saying that. Sorry.
No, not at all, dude.
Going back on what you asked about Mike, though, I talked to him a handful of times in the last few months, and every time I talk to him, he's doing way better. The biggest thing he's having a challenge with right now is just he's having a sciatic pain down his leg that he can't seem to get rid of. But what's amazing is ever since his incident, I can't tell a difference in him. He still seems like the same Mike. He bounced back so quick from that.
Yeah.
It's truly a miracle what he went through and to where he's at today. It's a godsend.
Such a good positive outlook on life, no matter what hits him too. So he's got a strong family behind him, and he's a good guy. Very good.
What's awesome is how all us pyros got on social media, how we're all behind him and how we were all praying for him through his challenges. I mean, we all came. I mean, I don't know if you guys are on Facebook or Instagram, but I read I was like every day wanting his update.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That guy was, I mean, it was really, really scary. And, you know, that it really hit home for us because, you know, like my heart issues kind of run in our family. So it was kind of it was like my dad's had heart issues, but you know, like it's a provides me with a wake up call. You know, it reminded me that it doesn't really matter how young you are, how good a shape you're in, you know, that you really need to take care of yourself because you only get one body, man. You only get one body. And if there's and that's why Mike's situation in particular scared me so much because he's as fit as a fiddle.
I know.
Like he never struck me ever as somebody who would get hit with a major heart attack.
And that's the crazy thing about it is you could be that guy. You could be fit as a fiddle and somebody that eats well and does all the right things. Mm-hmm. And it's still genetically, it doesn't matter. You know, you're dealt a certain hand genetically and then you have to figure out how to navigate that. And it's great that he's, you know, figured out how to get back on track and that he's doing well. I mean, again, I've never even met the guy and we're here talking about his health and everyone hopes that he's doing well and everyone wants him to recover. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
You know, what's really cool is how all of us pyro people come together and I just feel that we're all close and that we can, you know, we face challenges together and we come together when we need to.
Yeah. And I believe that wholeheartedly, man, because I guess what winds up being a constant reminder of that kind of stuff is I think there was a gentleman that was pretty influential in the community that had passed away here recently and it made it on the Facebook. But you see this outpouring of all of the people that care and all the folks that chime in just to pay homage to someone's memory that passed away and the impact that they had on their journeys through pyro.
Well, and it sounds like I know what you're talking about because I read about it too. And it's like he was another one of these guys, positive outlook, a lot of passion about everything, wanted to help anyone that wanted to come in and ask questions and listen. And it's amazing to have a community with that kind of, you know, that kind of outreach and that kind of like support.
Yeah. Yep.
And so Doug, actually, you're talking about the guy who owned the fireworks superstore down. God, I forgot his name. I feel so bad right now for that. But Friday, Doug texted me. He was like, "Hey, anything from the fireworks superstore?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm heading down to, you know, pay my respects." So he went down there Friday just to see who was in the store, you know, any family members and such, and give his respects because he had that much of an impact on Doug. He just enjoyed that guy so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's relationships, man. Pyro has always been, you know, we make jokes all the time that, you know, pyro's archaic and that the industry kind of lags behind and, you know, whatever's technology is doing, pyro is doing the same thing that technology did 15 years ago. But the relationship aspect of it is something that I think binds all of us together and it keeps all of us moving forward, you know, for better or worse, right? Because I think all of the challenges that we face interpersonally, you know, either amongst our peers or amongst competition, even the competitive landscape, I still think for the most part, everyone behaves well. You know, everybody tries to conduct themselves in a positive manner. And I have an extreme appreciation for that. Like there's never a more real bunch than getting together and talking with a bunch of pyros. Like you'll know exactly what's on everybody's mind. Period. Nobody fluffs shit up, and it's always straight at it, and like you know where you stand. And I love that.
Thought a bunch of things that blow up bring us all together. Common denominator.
Yeah. Yep.
But we were talking about the health things here for a minute. I couldn't help but remind me of the story you told me about your dad, where he disappeared for hours and then showed up.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Can you tell that story, or is that something you don't talk about?
I don't know. He'll probably get mad at me that I tell it, but you know, like Dad's never Dad. I mean, I love my dad to death, and you know, he's been so influential in my life, and he's always been, you know, I guess until I grew up and went out on my own, you know, he and I always had this kind of relationship where it wasn't it was almost like the tough love relationship, like I always aspired to want, I wanted my dad's respect. Right. And I kind of grew up on the lake with dad trying to be a part of this show. But, he would come to the lake, but he's notorious for going back and forth and making that drive between, Missouri and Ohio just to shoot the lake show. He'll come back to the lake in Missouri, and then he'll go back to Ohio to work for a few days and then come back again. He does it all the time, and you don't think anything of it. But he had 4th of July rolls around one year. I can't even remember what year this was, probably 5 or 6, 7 years ago, maybe. But he was like, we're pushing maybe the 3rd of July. And by the 3rd of July, like he's usually on site and setting up for his show. And it had kind of been radio silent. So we were really getting a little worried about him. We were trying to call him. We couldn't get a hold of him. And it turns out like he had a heart episode. He had he passed out a couple of times and wound up needing a pacemaker. So he winds up showing up like really late on the 3rd of July, and he's telling people the story. But you would have thought it wasn't even a thing. Not a big deal. It's all good. I'm fine. I drove to that. He got really
I'm here
upset.
to shoot fireworks.
Dude, yeah, right. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm here to do my thing. Like, just like, I'm going to get it done. Don't worry about it. It's like, dude, I'm worried about your health, man. But like he was driving. He had passed out a couple of times, and then eventually he's, goes and does some contract stuff for real estate. And then he's like, you know what? Maybe I passed out a couple of times. Maybe I should go to the hospital and just get this checked out. So he drives to the hospital, and as he's pulling into the freaking parking lot of the hospital, he passes out again behind the wheel.
Oh man.
And he was going like 5 miles an hour, and there was like this little construction bank, like just this big thing so like by the grace of God, he passed out just as the car was 5 feet away from a big dirt mound anyway. So he drives into this dirt mound. He's fine. So the thing wound up being this big joke because they charged him for the ambulance ride from 40 feet away from the front door of the hospital to the emergency
Oh my
room.
God, that probably gave him another episode.
Oh, he was upset, man.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Oh, he was upset.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just literally visualizing this right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you should have seen it when he came back too, because he had, he had this bandage on his head for where he'd passed out and hit his head. And then, he obviously had the pacemaker thing. But I tell you what, man, I've never seen my mom so like just, she's terrified because dad passed out, and it's like they had this huge episode. But at the same time, here he is, like he wound up getting a pacemaker installed. And then after that, just drives back to Missouri. He's like, come on, Doc, let's go. Like, wrap this up. I got a fireworks show I got to get to.
I got fireworks to shoot off. I got things to do. Let's go.
I love your dad.
I know.
That's another man that's just going to get the shirt off his back.
Yes, he will.
That's some great advice.
Yep. Stop talking about it is one piece of advice that he gave us a long time ago. And you said where that one went.
Now we have a
That's where that
podcast
actually
about
came from.
Stop talking about it, Bo.
Oh my God.
Oh man. David,
Kinda
when do you
like
start
that Snapchat?
Yeah. David, when do you actually start designing your show for the year?
We're already starting to talk about it. My dad and I have been talking about it since like July 5th.
Thank God I'm not the only one.
awesome.
It takes 12 months to script.
The hardest part's finding the music. I mean, we know the patriotic part, but what's the next theme? What's that next part? But anyway, it always comes together. It's always better than the year before. So I'm not going to stress about it.
I've gotten to that point. Except for this year.
Except for this year.
This year
I don't know.
bad.
You know what though, Jamie? I think it's probably it's safe to say it's part of your process now to get somewhat stressed about it. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I think that's just how you deal with stuff. Like we all have our own different
better under stress
and,
for some reason. I mean, I get stressed out, but I get shit done, you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look at your board.
I agree.
You were so stressed out through that whole thing, and it turned out badass.
I was stressed out through that whole thing because it was freaking September before I started it. Because what was PGI, the first week of August? And I was trying to design it in mid-August, and that's the busiest time of year for me completely. I had almost 4 months off of work, and did I work on my board? No. No. All this free time, no. I played Valheim.
You stressed out about that too.
I got to take care of the carrots and the sheep and the pigs.
Jeremy, are you one of those guys? Do you start designing yours as quickly as humanly possible too?
Are you talking about the show for next year?
Yeah, your annual show.
I haven't really started designing anything other than one song, the one that I want to use the wheel in. I kind of got a little bit of that going on where I'm trying to put it together and, put timing together and all that. But I kind of don't want to waste time designing a show around a track that's going to change 30 times. So that's why I really screwed myself last year, because I didn't start actually scripting the show until like 3 weeks before 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. Yup.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Well, this brings up kind of a cool question too. And I guess this is for both you guys, Dave and Jeremy. How do you guys go about keeping up on new product that hits the market? And how do you know, what's your process for going through product selection?
So for me, it's really about, I try to take advantage of like American wholesales, like buy one, get one off, or not buy one, get one, but their sales and everything else. Because I'm in their highest tier other than the heavyweights. So I try to get the best pricing I can. And really it turns out to be whatever they have in stock that I like. And then the last couple of years, I've been buying stuff through RKM. So I'm on their website all the time because I can purchase stuff and they'll hold it, because I got a 1-3 license too. So yeah, I don't have to pick it up until it's time to get closer to the show. But I want to branch out. Like, I'm looking at Fireworks Forever for this year. Last year, I actually did a wholesale buy through Pyroland. I kind of try to do that early so I have an idea what's going to be in the show. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, if you're buying it at the last minute, it doesn't leave you any time to script it.
Yeah, and it's like buying super last minute like that too. I understand the pain in that, because like I had done that for a number of years. It's really hard to, like, you feel like you're almost just reacting to the market at like when you have such a small window to load things into your show at that point.
So, Bo, answer your question. First, I want to say, if my wife Elisa is listening, please put your fingers in your ear. Spirit of 76, if you buy $10,000 or more, you get special pricing. All right.
Hell of a deal. You get a hell of a deal. Hell of a deal.
All right.
I'm not saying I did it. I'm just saying.
That's right.
You know what you do is when you're in the car, I'll just send you this timestamp, and an hour and 53 minutes and
turn it off.
2 seconds, you're going to hit a speed bump. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the button.
But yes, special pricing, Spirit of 76, $10,000 or more. It's a really good deal.
Yeah. Well, even at certain times of the year too. I a lot of these guys want to liquidate their inventory toward the end of the year. Do you guys do any end of year buying? Because I know everybody is different in their buying habits. Some people buy all year round. They're just looking for deals and you're shopping to, increase the stash. And other people are just buying for one particular show and then either holding for longer periods of times or shorter periods of time.
So I do have a wholesaler here in Florida that's out of DeLand, Florida, Four Season Fireworks, and they carry Dominator. And a matter of fact, their rep is, what's his name? Tim Roach? Something Roach.
Oh,
Matt Roach,
Matt
right?
Roach, yeah.
Matt Roach. Well, anyway, they have specials. So I'm steadily buying Dominator Pro from them throughout the year. Matter of fact, on Friday of this next week, I'm going and buying a whole bunch from them. But go ahead.
So to be clear, you've got Spirit of 76's $10,000 discount. you've got Dominator's $10,000 discount, and you have Pyroland's $10,000 discount. Did I hear that correctly?
No.
You should call your importer and see if they can throw all of that into a container.
Sounds like you should call your divorce lawyer too.
Wait, I didn't mention Pyroland. I think that was Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy mentioned Pyroland.
It was Jeremy, but I was just going with it.
There's still room in the container.
And I'm still muting if my wife's listening. She has no idea.
When she's listening to the car with you, you just keep on messing with the stereo at those moments. You're like, what are you doing? I don't know. I heard some crackling. I'm trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, just hit that 15-second skip button.
That's right.
I was trying to turn it up.
Well, you know, I make no money doing these pyro shows. Thank goodness I have a career. I'm a financial advisor. I work for a firm called Raymond James, so I have to do that.
Financial advisor does fireworks.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking the same thing in my
I know. Right?
I financially advise you to stop shooting fireworks.
It's not a good investment. They blow up. You know, my investments
You're
blow
literally
up.
lighting money on fire.
Do what I say, not what I do.
That's right. I should not have even said that. Can you retract that?
Oh God. Oh my God.
That's money. That's
guy that comes into
that's a t-shirt. I'm a financial advisor. I financially advise you to stop shooting fireworks. That's awesome.
Actually, no, I want to make that shirt, Bo. That would be a good one.
All you, buddy. Let's do this thing.
I think the other thing too, though, is like I'll buy stuff based on availability, because when you have something that you want, as soon as it comes in, that stuff tends to sell out pretty quick. So if you don't buy it right away, you don't get it.
Or you've been looking for all year long, and then finally, I got it in. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's also what happens.
It's also the best thing of, creating those relationships with those vendors. Cause like, you were saying, with RKM or, Fireworks Forever, whoever you end up buying from, they'll usually hold stuff for you. So as it comes in, you'd be like, hey, you just got these in. Can you pull 4 cases off to the side? And then when you get your other stuff in, we'll just keep adding stuff throughout the year. Like, that's huge to do.
Yeah, it's ideal because it cuts down on shipping and everything too. Because getting small shipments from American Wholesale and spending $200 to get it shipped over here, whether you buy $500 worth of stuff or $2,000, it adds up quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. All these vendors are so good to work with too. And I guess that goes back to the relationship piece of it. Everybody's so tight knit, but the good vendor knows how to cultivate that relationship with us as customers and kind of continually service the market.
Real quick, I do want to mention, Bo, I want to thank you for all your help with PyroTracks.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, dude.
I know this is off subject, but I could not be as successful as I am with my pyro musicals if it wasn't for you. And blending music together, helping me create beautiful music, like melodies together, blending things to make my shows what they are.
You're so welcome, brother.
I know, sir.
Wow. Yeah, the ass kissing went deep on that one. I mean, Bo, I appreciate your help too, but goddamn.
You're so welcome, man. I love doing the audio engineering stuff. It started as a hobby, and then I actually created my small business around just doing audio engineering, and it's a lot of fun. And I saw the need in pyro, like to have a show that makes sense. You want it to be as not distracting as humanly possible.
It's amazing the things that you do, the things that you add into these songs just to make them fit or slide together. Like it's like what you said, it kind of gives you, instead of like just taking you from watching like The Simpsons and then turning on like Snow White kind of thing, you're blending those two together to make them actually fit. just to give two opposites of what I'm talking about there.
Like Simpsons and Snow White.
It's completely two different things, but if you could blend them together.
Fire.
Oh God, that would be a great episode.
Beavis and Butthead and Snow White.
Hey, but the chick's asleep.
She's asleep.
Hey, wake up. Oh, wait, that's not the right. Yeah, that's the wrong movie, isn't it? Snow White doesn't fall asleep, does she? That's Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
I'm way off, man.
Yep.
Jeez.
She was asleep.
Okay, let's not make it weird, though.
Yeah, it's getting awful rapey.
Let's give her a kiss.
Yeah, my wife's probably listening to this now. She's back listening to it.
And you're never gonna
Skip
David, I can't believe you listen to this.
Oh shit!
She's still on. You spent how much at 76?
Yeah, right.
Just don't get out of the car and get gas at any moment during this podcast.
Right.
You'll get in the car and she'll be staring at you, and you'll be like, "What? 10 grand?" You'll be like, "Fuck!"
No. It won't go like that. It'd be this, David. What? You can never tell me no.
I'll be like, honey, that was AI. That was not me. Somebody filtered me. That was fraud.
I think that was just that good. Okay.
I think that's not me. That's that Canadian guy. That's Dana.
Dana. You betcha.
Before this thing airs next Friday, just make sure that any travel plans that you guys have, book them now. Really set the mood before you go into this thing. Did I just snort?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snort.
You good, man?
Did you? I didn't even notice.
If you had snorted and went A, I probably would have died.
This has been a lot of fun.
Dude, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you both for joining us. And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to both of you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys and everyone listening. Hope it was a good one.
Yeah, we'll do it again. And then next time we'll pick some focused topics and we'll have you guys back.
That sounds great.
Sweet. All right, let's stop talking about it.
Stop talking about it. Please stop talking about it.
Stop talking about it.
Stop talking about that 76 order.
I know nothing.